I'm your host Bella Singh, and this is Singh Sunday. Do you want to know something I hate? Watermelons, because they're just so watery. And so, because they share a similar name with melons, I never gave melons a chance until this summer, and now I love them. But the thing is, watermelons are just much more aesthetically pleasing. If you take a picture with a watermelon, you feel like Heather. So today I'm talking about how Indian people are wrongly represented within the world of TV and film. But before we get into this, think about a TV show that features an Indian character. Most likely, this character is going to be so racially stereotyped, and this is so common, but these racial stereotypes just end up hurting people in the long run. You may be thinking, what actually is the Asian stereotype? Well, let me tell you. They're usually a nerd. They love maths and science. A lot of the time they speak with an accent. They lack fashion sense. They don't really fit in with the general social scene of the TV show. And it's not very likely that viewers aspire to be like them. Unfortunately, there are parents who are not discussing race-related issues with their children, and they have a complete arrogance to the matter. And then they just let their kids go on and believe in all the stereotypes they see on TV because they haven't educated them enough about stereotypes and how they are not actually something that are always necessarily true. And then when these people with zero knowledge of any race-related issues meet someone, they automatically mold them into a stereotype, which is just so annoying and culturally insensitive. And that is where the Asian stereotype becomes dangerous, because people view you in a certain way and have all these ideas about you that aren't even true. They literally just got all these stereotypical ideas from a TV show. It's no fun being stereotyped, and your ethnicity should not have to define who you are as a person. As humans, we have layers. We are multifaceted, complex beings. And parents, they have a moral obligation to correctly educate their children about race-related issues. I'm very thankful that I live in London, which people often refer to as a cultural melting pot. And it's funny because the majority of people on my street and in my area are Indian or just generally Asian. So I was talking about it with my mum the other day, and we figured out that there's only 3 white people on my street. So, when I first heard the phrase BME, which if you don't know means black and minority ethnic, I found it funny because where I live, I do not feel like a minority. I actually feel like a majority. There are 1.4 million Indian people in the UK, but that is not all of them because there's a lot of undocumented people and the way they calculate it isn't completely accurate. But you see, I've never gone to schools in my area. My schools are usually predominantly white. So I have had the chance to see how people buy into the concept of the Asian stereotype. A lot of the TV shows that we watch shape the way we think and view the world. I see all these TikToks saying, "Ooh, I stole my personality from this character," and it's kind of a joke, but in another way, it's not, because subconsciously, what we're watching definitely makes its way into our lives. And 9 out of 10 times that I see an Indian character in an American or English TV show, they are stereotyped, and there's just such a lack of good representation. I tried going on Google and YouTube, searching for Indian characters in popular TV shows, and there's basically nothing. In fact, I even specified for it to be American or English shows, and there just really wasn't much choice going on like there would be for white characters, which are represented in everything. Now, let's go and analyse the way some Asian or just Indian characters have been presented on the screen. So firstly, we have Zack and Cody, and the character, more particularly, of London Tipton, who is half Thai, and they actually flipped the Asian stereotype for this character. She is not portrayed as a nerd, she has a coveted fashion sense, and a lot of people aspire to be like her. But she is also a spoof on Paris Hilton, but I feel like it was nice to see an Asian character who wasn't constantly defined by their ethnicity. Next, we have the Netflix show Never Have I Ever, and I know a lot of people have mixed opinions about this show, but the concept is quite groundbreaking because there's really not that much out there featuring an Indian main character who is westernized, born in a Western country, living in the Western world. Although the show is not perfect, it has its flaws, but by being on Netflix, I feel like it really is on a bigger platform, although it shouldn't have taken this long to get a show like that. So the main character is Hindu, and Indian people can be any religion. India is so religiously diverse. To really, on TV, not see a religiously diverse range of Indian characters is disappointing because there's just so many types of people that need representation. So I feel like it would be really nice to see maybe a Christian Indian character, because I've never seen that on TV before, and it would feel nice to be more represented. Now, another popular kids TV show I watched growing up was Jessie, and I loved watching it. It was so entertaining. But for real, why did Ravi always have to have an accent and fit such of a stereotypical Indian role? Why did he have to be so much of a nerd and uncool? And I'm aware his character was adopted from India, but they could have shown a kid that developed within Western culture, and then they wouldn't have had to have a character who fits into the Indian stereotype. They could have shown somebody who is just not a stereotype. Whilst I was doing my research for this episode, a lot of stuff with Disney Channel India kept popping up, and I clicked on some of the shows, and it was funny because they have their own versions of American shows. They just change the characters' names, and I watched a bit of it. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I just found it funny because it's the same show, just in a different font. Lastly, we have Baljit from Phineas and Ferb, and again, he is a perfect fit of the Indian stereotype. He speaks with an accent and fits into that nerd persona, and it just really makes me think, why did they have to make him like this? The fresh accent is not necessary. They could have just made him a normal kid like the others. And I know there are other TV shows that I haven't talked about today, such as How to Be Indie and Family Karma, but maybe if you guys like this episode enough, I'll do another episode. So before this ends, I want everybody listening to know that they're just so much more than the stereotype their ethnicity is presented on, and you should not allow these stereotypes to define who you are. Just live your life the way you want it. I'm your host Bella Singh, and thank you for listening to Singh Sunday, where I post a new episode every Sunday, available on YouTube and Spotify. Have a good week and adios!